In this video, I'm going to show you some of the coolest hidden secrets in Hearthstone, such as how to enter hidden puzzle rooms stashed throughout the tavern. We'll also take a look at cards doing things not described, various lore interactions, and mysterious references. This video has what I think are some of the coolest hidden secrets and Easter eggs in Hearthstone. Let's start off simple so we can raise the coolness factor each time. First up, we have Wild Growth, a 2-mana spell, gain an empty mana crystal. However, if you play Wild Growth on your maximum amount of mana allowed, instead of it just letting you go above that by getting an empty mana crystal anyway, or by what you'd probably expect doing nothing, it actually gives you a secret card that is described and told you nowhere, which is a 0-mana spell that lets you draw a card. This is something that I'm sure most of you know, so let's move on to something that many of you may not know. Did you know that if you go to Hearthstone, hit this question mark to go to the tutorial, go to the page with attacker and defender, and click this little, I don't know, screw, nail, something in the top right corner, it loads a secret game mode. This is the Say My Name game. What you do is you get a hand full of cards that have names, such as Vol'jin, and your goal is to choose the correct minion that matches the name. If you successfully do this and complete all of them, you win. If you, for some reason, were to do it wrong, and you know, that's Troll, but I'll click this one, you explode and you start over. So you can't miss. Your goal is to get all 14 names correct. If you do, you win. If you don't, you start over. Rapid fire. Look at me go. That one doesn't exist. I don't know names. Oh no. I have a whole video on this mode. It was actually the Tavern Brawl at the time, but it is completely playable in Hearthstone at any point by going through those really specific and bizarre steps. It's really as simple as it sounds. You just put the right name to the right card. And when I say simple, I mean the mechanics are simple. I, for one, am worried that I'm not going to be able to know all these names. Of course I know the game. What are we talking about? That's what happens if you win. You named them all correctly, you get a victory. Your skin greets you with a celebration. I think that's your Battlegrounds hero skin that it shows you there, like your innkeeper per se. So like if you were to go here to Battlegrounds and go to your collection, you'd have skins and things, and then one of those skins is for bartenders. See, my favorite bartender's the innkeeper, but if you had Bob would show there, or whatever. That's how you play Say My Name. Say My Name is actually only one of 4 of the secret puzzle rooms that I'm going to show you in this video. Completing all 4 of them allows you to complete the Histories Mysteries achievement. Completing the achievement grants you this super rare card back. So fasten your seatbelts, grab some popcorn, and join along as I try to complete all 4 of these hidden puzzle rooms, all while telling you about some of Hearthstone's coolest hidden secrets. Up next, we have Kel'Thuzad's Kitty, a hidden interaction in a solo adventure battle against Kel'Thuzad. The way it works is very simple. It's just a little Easter egg in typical gaming fashion. Animal Companion, a card that has existed in the game as long as the game has existed, is a 3-mana spell that either summons Huffer, Misha, or Leah. However, if you play this card against Kel'Thuzad, you instead get Mr. Bigglesworth. Mr. Bigglesworth, when summoned, will always be ignored. Kel'Thuzad will never, ever attack it, even if it has taunt. Also, if you were to be so cruel as to trade away Mr. Bigglesworth to force the kitty to be put down, there is this interaction in response from Kel'Thuzad.
A curse upon you, interloper!
This is just one of the many fun Easter eggs hidden in the old school solo adventures, but to me, this one is one of the coolest. Up next on our list, this one, not so much a secret. Actually, it's a new feature, but they didn't announce it. On the bottom left of your screen at any point in the game, it will tell you now if you've disconnected by showing a red dot. This may not seem like very much, but it helps you know now that you are in fact disconnected and you do need to like relog or fix your connection or something. It is showing a disconnection, and so you're not left wondering anymore. But I'm assuming, you know, if you're watching this a year from when it came out, probably not a secret at all. If you go to the credits, options, miscellaneous credits, and hit anywhere in your screen in the bottom left a few times, just start clicking. It loads up another hidden minigame called This or That. The first time I encountered this game, I don't know what was going on. I was like, oh, I'll pick your favorite or something. And I just started clicking stuff and then I was like, I don't really care about half of these cards. What's going on here? And then I was like, do I just have to like keep spamming cards on one side? Like, what's happening? Do I just have to like, and then I was like, wait, is this just like never ending? You're just picking your favorite of the 2 cards until you're bored? And then I realized the way to do it is to pick the older card, whichever card was released earlier in time. Sometimes you get these, which are identical, and I don't know if that matters. I don't know if you can mess those up, but what I'm doing is I'm just picking whichever card came out sooner, and hopefully eventually it will free me from this prison that I am stuck in where I am forced to do this. I don't know why some of the mana costs are off though. It's really strange. Some of the cards just have incorrect mana costs. Very peculiar. Like that was a 3 mana, this is 0 mana. I don't know what's going on. It's very interesting. Maybe there's something to do with that. But as far as I could figure out without looking this up, all you have to do is pick the older of the 2 cards. So I'm just going to keep doing that and ignore the mana costs that are really off. All I'm looking at is the outline here, the set imprint per se. Some of the newer ones are a little foggy. What even is that? Is that Path of Arthas? Dude, this game is so long. I'm so bored. Have I messed up a bunch? Like, why is this not over? Oh, was that wrong? That was probably KFT. I think KFT's after Old Guys. Oh, man. And you have a limited time per choice, so there's a little bit of pressure. The rope ain't messing around. Can't end your turn. Dude, I don't even know what expansion this is. Perils in Paradise? This is probably older. Just like that. 34 damage, but it's not over. Oh my goodness, his health resets. So it turns out you have to get a lot of them right. So don't make the mistake that I did and look up a reference image or something when you go to do this yourself for the achievement so that you know for sure which card is older. No, that was a Caverns of Time card. Ah, this is so long. Wow, these are both so old. Surely this time we'll have done this correctly. Do you have to get every card right? Ugh. This is really painful, but you get the idea. You have to choose 50 times correctly. All of them have to be right. Pick the oldest of the 2 cards. And don't get fooled by the Caverns of Time, because that can be tricky. Dude, I just don't know mini sets. Mini sets are so fake. I wish it would fail when you got a card wrong. It's actually crazy that you have to do all 50. It's diabolical work. Get one wrong and you're just toast. GVG is pretty easy. And when you finally do all 50 in a row correctly, you win! Let's go! I am free! For those who don't know the lore, which usually is myself, but in this case I can cover it, Millhouse Manastorm and Maleficent Manastorm have the same last name, and that is no coincidence, as they are married, and they have a bit of a love-hate relationship. As a result of this marriage and this relationship, this interaction here in a solo adventure is possible. Maleficent Manastorm will react when you play a Millhouse Manastorm, because, oh my gosh, my husband is here, and Millhouse and Maleficent will react if you play multiple, because they're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So on and so forth. However, not for 3 and not for 4. But the bit of the secret interaction in this case is what happens when you play 5 Millhouse Manastorms. You might expect fancy text, a scream in this case, but what you probably wouldn't expect is that you win the game instantly. That's right, you just win the game instantly. Very cool Easter egg. Pretty cool secret interaction there. Within this game, there are actually thousands of references, hints, jabs, etc. You know, text-style Easter eggs hidden within the flavor text of cards and also within the artwork of cards, as well as voice lines of cards, etc. I, however, don't have time to mention very many of these as a result. So if you have a favorite I don't mention in this video, let everyone know about it down in the comments. What I'm talking about right now is I am a Murloc. This is my personal favorite kind of hidden reference, you know, card art in the game. It is also the art for the Battlegrounds minion King Gurgle, but I Am a Murloc is where it came first. This card has many references stashed throughout it, including SpongeBob, yes, that's SpongeBob, Patrick Star, and Mr. Krabs. It also has Dancing Daryl on it, which is another character I associate with Battlegrounds. It also has Grunty, a StarCraft Murloc Marine, who is also scheduled to be added to the upcoming Heroes of StarCraft miniset into Hearthstone, so we'll see Grunty as his own card. But he is also seen pictured here. I suppose you could say that I Am a Murloc actually has like a reference for you know, it contains King Gurgle, right? Like I Am a Murloc is like a spell, and then the Murloc featured is King Gurgle. That could be a reference as well, but I digress. For me, this is the coolest like reference you're gonna get out of card arts. Did you know that if you go to your collection, build a mage deck of these exact 40 cards, which is just a pile of absolute rubbish, but mostly free and very cheap cards, and you take it to a wild game, instead of queuing for an opponent like any other deck, you load a secret puzzle room. For the last 2 puzzles, I felt like they were of a difficulty where I could attempt to figure them out on my own, but this puzzle was actually the 4th and final puzzle discovered by those that were actively hunting the secrets upon their release, and it took like over 6 months to find this, let alone solve it. So I decided to opt for just following the attack sheet myself in order to solve this
with minimal headache, unlike the last one, which was quite stressful, doing completely on my own. The way the puzzle sheet works is very simple. It gives you a number and then a dash and then a number. The first number indicates which of your minions you need to choose, 1 being your most left minion, 7 being your most right minion, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the second number after the dash is which number you need to attack your minion into, same 1 through 7 from the left to the right. All you do is you follow the 43 attacks in a row as indicated on this puzzle sheet. After you do a certain amount, you'll get a firework saying that you've done it correctly. You then move to the next row and do the next set of attacks, and that is how you solve this puzzle.
There's a lot of attacks, but if you just follow the sheet in order, which we're going to do right here real quick, 1 into 1, 3 into 3, 3 into 2, 6 into 5, and 2 into 1, we'll get another set of fireworks. We'll then go 3 into 2, 3 into 2 again, 3 into 4, 3 into 4 again, and then finally 3 into 5. We will get another firework. We will go 2 into 3, 2 into 2, 5, 3, 3 into 3, and then 3 into 1, and we will get another fireworks. There are 5 more to go. 4 into 4 twice. There's 1. Here's the second. 1 into 4. 3 into 4, and then 3 into 2. 4 more to go. Got 1 in 3. Got 2 into 3. Got 4 into 2. 4 into 5. Rip Boulder Fist Ogre. 1 into 3. Rip Totem. Another firework. 3 more to go. 3 into 3. I'm going to do 3 into 4 twice. Do a 2 into 4, and then a 3 into 3 to finish it off. Another set of fireworks. 4 into 4 twice. 4 into 3. 4 into 4 again, and then 7 into 4. The only time you attack with your 7th minion. 6 into 6. 2 into 1, and 5 into 5. That finishes it and gives you the "What a long, strange trip it's been" achievement. That is the 3rd puzzle required of 4 total to unlock the super rare exclusive card back, and the last one is no small feat. So stick around to see how that one is done. For those of you who want more specific reasonings for like why these attacks were what they were to solve this puzzle, the logic behind it is that the numbers correspond to the stats of the minions that were in the original deck list that you used to enter the puzzle, ordered by chronological expansion order. For example, the minions from the Legacy set, Ancient Mage with stats 2-5, the minion from Curse of Naxxramas' Dancing Swords with the sets 4-4, and so on. So the attacks were 2-5 and then 4-4, which is a similar theme with the other puzzle, which was the order, this or that puzzle, which was the order that they were released. So in this one, order that they were released determines the attacks. You do 40 attacks, you win. And that is the logic behind how you would have solved this puzzle if you hadn't used the solution. I don't know how high the interest in this one is these days, but historically it's been one of my favorite little cool tribute secret flavor thingies that the game does. What I'm talking about is Hearthstone Esports World Champion cards. So every time someone wins the Hearthstone World Championship, which happens yearly, the winner gets a card to commemorate their championship. Starting in 2014, when Firebat was the world champion, he got the card Fiery Bat printed for him with the flavor text, "He'll always be our first." Firebat will always be the first world champion, and this card is in reference to his name, Firebat. But that tribute actually continued past that, and it's happened every year since. Ostaka in 2015 got Priest of the Feast. Pavel in 2016 got Chittering Tunneler. Ear to the ground, he carefully interpreted the chittering noises. You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. This is of course in reference to Pavel's historically, infamously, hilariously, I'd argue, win over Amnesiac due to getting the perfect spell generated from playing Babbling Book. Tom in 2016 got Phantom Militia. Hunter Ace in 2018 got Ace Hunter Kreen. VK Leon, probably the most, mainstream winner since Firebat, won in 2019 and got Mope Nathal Lion. She was the first woman ever to win the title of World Champion. In 2020, Glory got the aptly named card Glory Chaser. In 2021, Possessi got the nicely named Possessifier. In 2022, Bunny Hopper got Bunny Stomper. And last but not least, the 2023 winner Pocket Train got this card, Pocket Dimension, as his card. And just very recently, in 2024, Yan Ming won. Obviously, as the time of this video, Yan Ming does not have a card. Next up, we have secrets related to the in-game boards. The in-game boards obviously do a lot for Hearthstone. It's where the Hearthstoning takes place. Beyond the functionality that they have, where they give you the buttons you can click and the information you need to play the game, they often also have interactable parts in the corners for you to, have fun with while your opponent is taking forever to play his 2 cards. Up until recently, every expansion and adventure that Hearthstone got also came with an accompanying board to add on to the starting few that Hearthstone had when it first came out. Even adventures like Nox Ramus got their own board. Obviously expansions did as well. These are some of the earliest boards we've seen in Hearthstone. And in the corners, you have just fun things related to the theme of the expansion. They were clickable. Some things would, like on this Grand Tournament one, you could eat the pie. You could bounce and spin this guy around, right? The excavate site, you can click the crystals and shoot a little laser here into there and over to there. You can have fun little things to distract you with. Maybe that's why my opponents are roping. They're too busy playing with the board. But some of the boards go even further beyond just a few interactable things. The first big example, and I think most popular example of that, is the Ungoro board. The Ungoro board has a volcano in the top left corner that can actually fully erupt during your game. That, I think, is the most popular hidden secret in the game, but there are actually quite a few of them on the various different boards, some of which are cooler than others. Here's one from the Gurubashi Arena. I, for one, don't think I've ever triggered that one personally, but it is there, and it's been there since the board came out. Another example of this from one of the newest Hearthstone expansions, I believe Festival of Legends, has this jukebox in the bottom left corner. By clicking all 9 of the squares, you get this exciting celebration. This is all darn and cool, and it's one of my favorite secrets in Hearthstone, what the various boards have and what they do. But there are actually some boards that have secrets that not very many people know about. First, in the bottom left, if you click the robot's parts in a very specific order, you get this cool little animation. Also, another kind of exciting and big animation on the exact same board that was also discovered way later than the board came out is this one in the top right. To me, these are one of the coolest interactions that you can have in Hearthstone. They're hidden right in plain sight. They're with you when you play the game to discover and to find, and I think it's very cool, and I'm sad that new boards aren't being made anymore because there will be no more cool secrets to go alongside of them.
Did you know that if you load up a Battlegrounds game, invite 7 of your closest friends, queue up a game in a private match with those 7 friends and yourself, and then all of you get up from your computers, sprint around your house 10 times, or however long it takes to AFK for 3 full turns without even so much as touching the mouse, that the game stops and instead it loads a hidden puzzle room within the Battlegrounds game. This is the 4th and final puzzle that I need to complete in order to earn myself that card back I've been chasing. This is called Crazy Eights. The way it works is you have to queue a Battlegrounds game with 8 players, do nothing for 3 turns, and then you load up the Light Lands minigame, where all you can buy are light spawns of various amounts that are all random. The one you start with is random, the ones you can buy are random. They're all different numbers. I shouldn't say random, because they're not random because it is solvable, but what I mean is they're different for all the players, right? You can't always just, hey, it's turn 1, buy this one. You have to coordinate with the 8 players which ones you should buy. So you and your opponent have to force a tie, and then that goes the same for the other 3 pairs. So all 8 people have to tie, and you have to do that 5 turns in a row of coordinating with the person you're going to play which light spawn to buy. And then once you've tied 5 times, you can leave, you can quit, you can have someone win, whatever, and you will at the end of the game receive the Crazy Eights achievement. However, that is easier said than done, as this uses normal Battlegrounds timings, like you're in a Battlegrounds game technically, so your first turn you don't have very long, your second turn you don't have very long, and then the time gradually increases. But when there's 8 people on a call trying to coordinate, each pair, you actually just don't have a lot of time. And on top of that, beyond just successfully AFKing for 3 turns to get to the puzzle, you also have to avoid some ways to fail before you even get there. In that most recent failure you just saw, we had to concede early because in the hero selection screen, something you have to take note of is you have to not pick any heroes that will mess it up. Any hero that adds card to your hands, such as Ambassador Phelan, any hero powers that have passives that affect combat, etc., will ruin the ability for you to go AFK, as it's gonna, add cards to your hand, summon a minion if you're like Curator, which will immediately ruin it. And so beyond just coordinating the 8 people into a call all at the same time, which is the hardest thing to do off rip, you then have to not choose a hero that will cause it to break before you can even get to the puzzle. When I say it took us like 5 tries to actually get to the puzzle, I might barely even be exaggerating. And then when we actually got to the puzzle, we realized very quickly there's just not enough time to communicate this in voice chat as that being our only solution. So now that we've finally, after a few hiccups, we've figured out, okay, don't pick any of these heroes. We have to all tie for 5 turns, right? But how are we going to possibly communicate all of these ties in time? That's where our handy friend Google Sheets came into play, where we could simply automate the process. So without having to talk, we could go to the sheet, we could enter the minion we started with, and the minions in the shop, and then we could input who our opponent was, and all the other players would do the same thing. The sheet would then say, okay, these 2 are playing, these are their starting minions, these are what's in the shop, and the sheet would literally tell you what to buy. Absolute lifesaver. So we finally worked out all the kinks. We've got 8 players there. We've got into the tie room successfully. We figured out a way to deal with not having enough time, and we're able to coordinate all of the ties. Perfect, right? We're done. Easy peasy. Well, so here's the thing. Achievements in Hearthstone, much like a lot of things, aren't always consistent. Or at least, they don't all work the same way. Some achievements give you the achievement right as it's happening in the game. You play your 30th Murloc, bottom left pops up, it goes, whoa, Murloc-tastic, you've done 30 Murlocs, and it shows it in the bottom. You're like, sweet, you feel good in the game, you get that achievement proc. Some achievements don't proc until the game is over, and this, unfortunately, is one of those. So, God forbid you not know the solution to this puzzle. I like to imagine the people who solved this the first time, found the puzzle room, were like, oh my gosh, we're geniuses, managed to coordinate the ties, they're like, oh my gosh, we're the geniuses, and then eventually were filled with dread when they realized it literally never ended. The puzzle room never ends. If you keep tying, it will literally never end. You'll all just sit on 1 HP tying with the solution forever. At least, as far as I'm aware. Maybe if you go like super far and you hit turn limit, the game will break because it's like using the normal Battlegrounds logic, but other than like those extreme scenarios, it's essentially endless. It doesn't like all force a concede to end the game to give you the achievement like it maybe probably should. It actually just lets you play on. And so us being sweaty, nerdy gamers who have been trying to get this achievement for an hour didn't dare to leave early. By golly, we didn't even dare to like have to do that again. We've overcome too much. So we just keep going. 30-30 light spawns, 50-50 light spawns, 70-70 light spawns, 110 light spawns, 150 light spawns, 300 attack, 300 health light spawns. They just keep growing until finally someone with reason is like, you know what? This is a little silly. We're either gonna submit a bug report or get an achievement. Let's just get out of here. And finally, after that whole time, after all the coordination and all the hurdles, we have done it. I have done it. Crazy 8's completed. And I can finally claim the card back, baby. Let's go. Woo! Woo! Let's go. Funnily enough, there's actually a hidden set of puzzles like this for each of the last half a dozen or so expansions. This one is the coolest and I think most complex and most built out. But if you have an interest in me going over some of the other hidden puzzles, let me know. Also, if you want to know the story behind how these puzzles were all solved, consider it a documentary on the process of solving these, let me know as well, because I think that's super interesting to see how people discovered these. Without further ado, let's finish this video off with one last hidden secret. Our final secret, what I think is the coolest hidden secret in Battlegrounds ever, is the Partner in Crime quest reward. For those who don't know, quests are a Battlegrounds mechanic where at the start of the game, you get an objective to complete, kind of a side objective that's just for you, and a reward that goes alongside of it. This specific quest reward has very rare chance of showing up under very specific conditions, but what it said was get your golden buddy. That was the reward. For those who don't know, buddies in Battlegrounds are another mechanic, much like quests, that are sort of seasonal or temporary. They come and go as the designers please. And buddies were essentially a minion that was designed and only obtainable by a specific hero. So every hero got their own unique minion that was only available to them, that kind of synergized with their hero power or their general hero strategy. If you were to somehow get 3 of them, much like any other minion in Battlegrounds, you would get your golden buddy. So what this quest reward was doing is whatever you do to complete it, your reward would be get your golden buddy, which would be very powerful and would also be very, very cool. So what made this quest reward so unique, when they brought quests back in September of 2022, this was an additional quest reward that people didn't realize was in the pool and was actually a mystery. When it first started surfacing, people weren't sure if it was real, if it was a glitch, if it was just rumors being spread, because there was kind of data miners who found
what they believed were 10 unused quest rewards, and this was actually one of them, but it turns out that they were deceived, and Blizzard had actually had those 10 that weren't included, but this one actually was. The very specific requirements, which were found out by Nina is Noob and her friends by brute forcing the quest to show up. They tried 41 times to get it to show up, and what they found and was later confirmed is that all heroes in the lobby must have a valid buddy option, because some heroes came out after buddies were removed, and so they didn't have buddies. So that was the first requirement. You had to have no heroes that didn't have a buddy. And the second one was that no one could be playing as Sir Finley or Elise. Then there was a 1% chance for the lobby to roll partner in crime. When that rare event happened, everyone in the lobby got the partner in crime quest reward, and they all battled it out with their golden buddies. Very cool, very interesting. I kind of would love more stuff like this, but honestly, you probably want a higher than 1% chance, because unless you really brute force it like they did, I'm not sure very many people have ever seen this and will ever encounter anything like this. But I think this stuff, these hidden secrets, are so cool, and in terms of battlegrounds, I think this is the coolest. So that is why I'm ending it with that. Very, very cool. Congrats to Nina and Co for finding it, and congrats to anybody who got the pleasure of playing with it. Maybe it'll be back when quests come back. I'm not really sure. But anyway, that's all for this video on hidden secrets in Hearthstone. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what videos you want to see next. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I will see you next year.